It's not the universe I live in, and I bet you don't live there either. But if life does exist, what is it? What are we? If vitalism is dead, maybe you are too. In stark contrast to the views of modern physicists and chemists, scientists used to believe life exists as a separate category from matter. Animated matter was believed to be imbued with a vital force, something referred to as the l'élan vital. Aristotle called it entelechy. Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz called it monads. They were both describing, as many have, a unique quality found only in living entities that directs living behaviors, such as the development of an embryo, regeneration of a lost limb, or any of the other purposeful activities that seem uniquely characteristic of life. This concept of being alive is somewhat akin to the religious concept of a soul, and some have even called it that. Whatever you call it, we think these features are unique to life because we do not observe them in non-living things. A rock does not restore its original shape when cut in two, but a planaria worm can and does. Vitalism, as the scientific movement came to be called, was driven by the idea that what makes matter come alive cannot be described mechanically and is therefore not material. While modern materialists like Andy, Sean, and Jack regard the known properties of matter as sufficient for explaining life, the vitalists had quite the opposite view. They believed that life does, in fact, exist, but it cannot be explained in terms of the properties of matter. Often, the idea of a vital principle was discussed in terms of a life energy or a vital spark that could animate even dead matter. If this sounds a bit Frankensteinian, that's because it is. Mary Shelley was just 21 when her famous novel Frankenstein was published in 1818. When she penned the book, she was reflecting on the leading science of her day, particularly theories on the soul, what makes us alive, and how we might reanimate the dead with electricity. Mary was influenced by the contemporary work of Luigi Galvani, work later carried on by his nephew, Giovanni Aldini. These two attempted to animate body parts through electrostimulation. They would stimulate dead frogs' legs with electric shocks to make them dance. Mary was also reportedly inspired by Erasmus Darwin, grandfather of the more famous Darwin, Charles. The elder Darwin wrote on the topic of spontaneous generation, citing how inanimate materials could spontaneously become animated in water warmed by sunlight. In Mary's novel, the body parts of the recently deceased could be reanimated by electrocution if they were properly wired together. This is how her lead character, Dr. Victor Frankenstein, made his living monster from dead bodies. If we were to try to write down laws of physics that could explain Dr. Frankenstein's unique insight in animating the monster, we might conjecture he had discovered a life force that dissipated slowly after death, and that whatever substance this force was made of was strongly coupled to electromagnetism. It's a bit of an odd set of properties Dr. Frankenstein discovered in his fictional universe, but matter in our real universe has many strange properties too. Our universe is weird when you start to understand it. In fact, it gets odder the more you think you understand it. We might imagine a consistent physics that Dr. Frankenstein tapped into that explains life. It just so happens that whatever physics he was onto is not the physics that describes our real universe. The real physics underlying life might be even stranger still. While right now we do not understand what principles govern life, they may one day be as obvious to subsequent generations as the curvature of space-time or the existence of particles of light, photons, are to us now. Many of the vitalists thought life could not be produced by things that were not already themselves alive. Living matter was special because its parts were special, carrying some of that requisite élan vital. Thus, living things were necessary to make more living things. Even Dr. Frankenstein had to make his monster from once living parts that were only recently deceased. Around the time of the publication of Frankenstein, the idea that life is necessary to produce the stuff of life was already beginning to lose popular support within the scientific community.